hello again. Second one of the night, just because I need to give myself a little bit of a head start. So this is the second of the batch of 6 that Tobias von Neubrunner, or Neubrunner, I'm going to get his surname wrong every single time I say it. Here's a picture of him now, if you didn't catch my previous video. If you've not seen the Three-Land whiskey review yet, which was yesterday, please go back and see it. It was a really distinctive, really unusual whiskey. But Tobias sent 6, that was the first, this is the second, and it's another one of these bottles, so it doesn't look like this on the shelf if you can find it, which you probably won't outside of where it's from, which is Luxembourg. Now it's called Diedernacker, and this is what it looks like. Diedenacker Number One, it's called. Now, yesterday's Three-Land was from Germany, but it was on the border of Luxembourg. And I'm going to show you a map now of, basically if you wanted to drive from the Three-Land distillery, or the AV Brennerei as it's called, to where Diedernacker is made, if I put the map up now, you'll see that it's just a 15-minute car journey. It is literally hop across the border and you're there. So very similar to the Three-Land in terms of it's a family-owned distillery. I think we're in the 6th generation now. Was making brandy and aquavit. Basically decided to make a whiskey to see whether they could. Now, with the Three-Land yesterday, it was a case of they were actually quite keen on moving into whiskey and seeing whether they could do it. These guys in particular, it's a gentleman called Camille and his father Nicola, who wanted to experiment but weren't really into whiskey. So they did a distillate. They used it was equivalent of a single barrel. It was a 225 litre barrel, and left it aside for a couple of years and tried it and went, it's not actually that good, to be honest. Forgot about it for a couple more years, then tried it again and went, well, it's actually not too bad, and gave some samples to people that they knew liked whiskey, and all of a sudden, absolutely, they went, wow, this is actually really good. So these guys realised that maybe we've actually got something here. Did a little bit of marketing, sold out of the barrel literally within weeks. Now they had the foresight to actually kind of keep doing this while they were going, so essentially every year there is a barrel's worth gets released, and that is it. There is also a limitation on the amount that a distillery can produce in a year in terms of spirit from one distillery. I think it's 20,000 litres in Luxembourg. Now they've already got 6 releases of brandy and aquavit, so they don't actually have the capacity, they don't have the capability legally to actually make any more than they already are doing. So again, very rare whiskey, highly unlikely to see this in the UK, probably unlikely to see this outside of anywhere in Luxembourg, Germany, northern France. So I'm incredibly honoured to have this from Tobias. Now, and again, like the Three-Land, it's a combination of rye, because that's quite prevalent in the area, and malted barley. It's matured in Luxembourg wine casks, but again, this part of Luxembourg is in the Mosel Valley, so it's very similar types of wine to what we had yesterday. I keep saying yesterday, done it 10 minutes ago. So the Three-Land was so distinctive, and I'm really intrigued to see how this one pans out as well. It sounds like they're not being quite as technical here. They're a bit more relaxed with it, because this is a sideline, almost like a hobby. We're making whiskey as well. Now, already this is a little bit darker, I can see. Now this is a 5-year-old, so this is actually a year younger than the Greenland, the Three-Land that we had yesterday. And a quite distinctively different nose to the one yesterday. Softer, quite sweet. There's a nice sweetness to this one. It's not quite caramel, it's not quite a toffee. Oh, there's a bit of mint in there as well, actually. That's just come through. Quite a floral mintiness, and like nettles as well, but there's this underlying sweetness to it, which is kind of fudgy, but it's not. It's got a decent colour to it. I wouldn't imagine they're adding colouring to this. A lot of this, and I probably, yeah, I actually don't think I mentioned this on the Threeland, with both of these, everything is locally sourced. So particularly with these guys, the water that they use to go through the distillation process is drawn from the village well. The rye and the barley are sourced from local fields. The casks are from vineyards only just down the road, so everything's really local. So I cannot imagine they're adding any caramel colouring to this that may affect the flavour or do anything with it. This is going to be as untouched as you're going to get. It's 42% as well, I need to point out. But yeah, there's a definite mintiness to it. It's quite fresh, but there's just this really underlying sweetness just cutting through. Very pleasant, actually. Not as distinctive as the Threeland. That was like unlike anything I've ever had. But this is this mintiness is really, really pleasant. That's strange. This is 42%. The Threeland was 46.2, and yet this tastes as though it's got a higher alcohol percentage. I'm going to use one of Chris Cook's favourite words now. There's a prickle on this, or an effervescence. In fact, this is more of an effervescence. I said I was going to use it over the weekend as well. It does. It really sparkles. It really does. Yeah, it feels lightly sparkling as it rolls around your mouth, and then it settles. The mintiness isn't there so much, not as much as it is on the nose. There's a lovely sweetness. There's a slight floral element to it as well, just very delicate, quite subtle. This is soft. It's gently sweet. There is a sharpness to it, and a bit of chocolate's come in there as well. But it's not chocolate and mint together. It was a total separate flavour of dark chocolate. The mint's on the nose, and this dark chocolate element is there on the palate. But the two don't really combine. It doesn't turn into an after eight, unfortunately, because I love after eight. But this is really pleasant. This is a delicate malt. This is probably a really good kind of representation of the Mosel Valley. The wines are delicate, the wines are floral, the wines are soft generally, and this is there as well. Slightly acidic, this is there as well. There is a slight acidity to it. This is almost how I would expect a whiskey from that area to taste like. It's very, very nice indeed. It's not as individual as the Threeland, but it's also not as polarising. Threeland you will probably really like or absolutely hate. This, I think you're going to struggle to find somebody that doesn't like this. It's very, very good whiskey indeed, and it's distinct enough that it stands on its own 2 feet. It's not like a Scotch. It's not a distillery from somewhere else going, let's make a Scotch whiskey. This has got its own identity, and it's beautiful. It's really, really nice. Yeah, definite dark chocolate in there. There's a soft maltiness, fresh, delicate, excellent stuff. Really very, very good. Again, if you can find it, good on you. I dread to think how much you'd be paying for it in the UK. It's a 225 litre barrel minus whatever's been lost from the Angel share, so there's not a great deal of it about. Tobias, again, thank you very much. I'm really looking forward to trying the other 4 that we've got left. But yes, excellent stuff. So stick around, we are on for a very interesting ride for the next few days. That was excellent. Right, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.